Right, I'm just making a video now because I know some people might be struggling with air in their alde heating system. They'll be getting hot water through the taps, but their central heating, as I call it, isn't coming on. The first thing I would do is I would check and make sure that the fluid in here, in this top-up bottle, is at the correct level. As you can see, I only have a little black mark here. That's my minimum. This is my maximum mark. However, as you can see, this is you can't actually see through it. So what I do is I put a flash lamp over it, and now you can see my fluid is about 10 millimeters above that line. I don't know how, 1 second, if that'll balance there. My fluid is actually here. It's not, it's about 15-20 mil. So anyway, at least we know we've fluid in this system. The problem is the hot water is, the water is heating up, but the heating system isn't. So we'll go over here to the boiler. I had terrible problems with this. There was no fluid at all in this van before I got it, and I don't think there was fluid in it for years. I had to flush this whole system. What I found is when I was turning on the heating, this canister here would be extremely hot, and the flow of water into the boiler would be hot, maybe 12 or 18 inches back. But going forward, we had no hot water. See, from the bottom of this canister, I'm sorry now, we had no hot water. What I had to do is, this is a bleed screw. You loosen off this and you will get air out. After the air, hopefully you'll start hear a little bit of sputtering, and you'll get a nice tiny trickle of the glycol fluid, or the coolant fluid that we put through our systems, obviously. I managed to bleed this point. I don't know whether you can see, I'm going to try. In here you can see there's another bleed point. I got air out of that. And, hold on, one sec, let's have a look. In there, under my other chair, there's another bleed point. I had to bleed my system from there. I was getting air out of all of these. Then, I'm sorry now I'm moving around, but it's difficult when you're trying to do stuff like this on your own. I had to remove the panel which is on my floor, and just in there I had another bleed point, so I bled that. I'm not going to move them because I have these fixed in at the moment, but behind this carpet there's another bleed point. In under this unit, I think you can see there is, just there, that's another bleed point. And then I'm going to move backwards so you can see. That was our first bleed point on top of that canister. We had one in behind this chair over here. We had one in behind that chair over there. Towards the front of the van we had one under that vent. Towards where I have my fire extinguishers, we had another bleed point there, and also in under that panel there we had another one. They are all low bleeding points. So now we're going back into the back area. I have removed the panel off this one. This was another bleed point. And finally, I've removed this. So we have another bleed point at the, this is the U lounge of my camper. and this is my toilet. We had another bleed tap there. This is my shower on the opposite side of my U-lounge. And right up here we had another bleed point. Now I bled all these points and I went back to my top up tank and the fluid was completely gone. So I topped it up. And when I say topped it up, instead of going the 10 or 15 mil above, which is the recommended, I went up about halfway. I knew that I still had fluid in it because when I tried to turn on the heating, I still had the problem at this cylinder. The cylinder was absolutely roasting and I still had a problem. This pipe here was warm, or hot should we say, but the pipe coming from under this cylinder was absolutely, it was cold, it was basically freezing. And what I'd done is I took my camper van for a spin. And I'm lucky where I live, there's like a long kind of a climb and there's a sharp little turn, and then I go up a really twisty road, so all the fluid in this system was getting thrown left, right and centre, and it dislodged the air. I came back. Once again, I went to this unit where my top-up bottle with the fluid which I'd put in was halfway up. That was completely gone. So straight away I knew my problem was I have a serious airlock. I went again and I bled in sequence at my lowest points, which that cylinder was my lowest point, and I went through over here was the low point, over by my extinguishers was the low points. I went onto my high points behind the chairs. And finally, in my U-lounge, I went to the one at the back of the U-lounge, and again, this high point here. I got an absolute ball of air out of a lot of these. What I done then is I got a Lucozade bottle, or a whatever, and I actually ended up putting 2 bottles of, I don't know, are they 200 milliliter bottles, so we'll just say that I put about a half a litre of fluid and I filled it up to about there. I took my van for a spin again, up as I said, up the hill with the climb and the roads and swooshing it around. Came back, this was completely gone. Once more I went through the bleed system, bled all the air. I ended up doing that 3 or 4 times. The amount of air that was trapped in the system was not letting the fan here. If I turn it on, you'll hear that fan. You can just hear the fan. I've turned the fan back off. There was that much air in the system that fan was just running. It wasn't doing anything. It was an airlock of all airlocks. Eventually, after about an hour of topping up, bleeding, taking the van for a spin, letting the fluids splosh about and remove the air, I finally cleared it. And as you could see there at the very beginning, when I put my lamp, you could see my level is about 10 or 15 mil above my minimum. And that is roughly where, as far as I know, that level should be. Because hopefully if your heating does come up and running with the heat and the warmth, that can expand. So you don't want to go really above that. So anyway, I hope that you find this video, if you're having problems with air and it just refuses to move like I had, I hope this video is of some help to you. Okay, bye.